my bed, find shelter for my children, say goodbye to their dad. Now we take up weapons we've never held before, to defend our country from brutal, needless war. We fight for our freedom, our future and our name. If you stand for peace, please stand with Ukraine. As we lay down our lives for our beloved land.
Yeah, we started at the very beginning of the war, back in March 2022 was our first trip, where we knew we had some medical items that we could take over and drop to the border. So we got a van, we loaded it up, and we set off. From that point, I personally realised that there was a huge need for other aid and that we needed to help more. So that's when PUMA was formed. When we came back and we started sending messages out, collecting more medical aid, but also humanitarian aid, hygiene items and nappies, etc. And then towards the end of April 22, it was the first time we crossed into Ukraine and started distributing aid. This is our 41st trip to Ukraine now. It's our third Arctic this year. So bear in mind, at this time it's only March, so we tend to do an Arctic lorry every month, about 16 tons of aid on each lorry. It goes to Ukraine, we then fly to Slovakia, we then meet it and cross the border with it. It then gets offloaded into our warehouse in a place called Uzhgorod, which is in the west of Ukraine. Every pallet has its destination already on it. It then goes down to the frontline villages, so Zaporizhia, Odessa, Kyiv, Kherson, Sumy, so all the areas where the fighting is quite intense at the moment. As well as we supply probably about a tenth of the lorry will stay relatively locally to Uzhgorod for the IDPs internally displaced person. So we would go to their shelters and distribute aid, especially for the newly arriving folk. Because Uzhgorod is safe, as safe can be, a lot of people tend to stay in Uzhgorod when they're fleeing other areas in Ukraine. There's martial law in Ukraine, so any man 18 years or older is unable to leave the country. So a lot of these mums can't leave their teenage sons behind, so they try and stay in a safer part of Ukraine, hence Uzhgorod, hence a huge increase of IDPs who've just fled from the front line. I can't believe how generous folk are all of the time. This generosity, whether it's locally, sort of in Plymouth and the surrounding areas, or everybody around the country sending us in donations. It's taught me there's kindness everywhere. There's more kindness in this world than there is unkindness. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, is this bubble ever going to burst? You know, are we asking too much? Are we expecting too much of everyone to keep donating, to keep knitting, to keep sending in items, to keep buying, to keep sending us money? And I just hope and pray that people can see what we're doing and can see how amazing the responses are in Ukraine, whether that's sending tourniquets or food or sleeping bags or warm coats down to the military, whether that's giving a child in an orphanage an Easter egg or a Christmas present or some clothing, whether that's going to an elderly home and giving them a wheelchair or incontinence so they can change more than twice a day, and just seeing the faces of those who are in a very disadvantaged place, very sorrowful place. I'm hoping that PUMA will carry on going. Yes, it's money. I hate asking. It's goods, it's hygiene items, it's mobility aids, wheelchairs. It's Supermarkets, I mean, we've just finished winter, so it's the coats. But probably it's everything as well as money. Last winter, we've just spent £17,000 on buying generators. We buy them in Ukraine, we send them down, and every generator then was received, whether that be in an elderly home or an IDP area in the front line. They have no electricity for 18 hours a day. And the temperatures were between -20 and -26 most evenings, freezing cold. So we're always fundraising for money, but really it's everything and anything. They do not have shops in the east of Ukraine where they can just go and buy some toothpaste or some baby milk. So yeah, to the world you may be one person, but to one person you may be the world. And what PUMA are doing, what every individual who helps PUMA, whether that be by a small item or a big financial item or a wheelchair or whatever, you are that difference. You are the world to these people who have nothing. Often we go to a lot of orphanages and we try and bring joy. If you can imagine being an orphan, it's pretty bad anyway. If you imagine being an orphan 4 years into a hall, these children were picked up from the east, dropped off from the west into another orphanage. They've closed international adoption, where some of these children may have been able to be adopted sort of outside of Ukraine. It's been closed, and it's been closed since the day of the war. There are twice as many children in half the medical orphanages now. There's power cuts. The money that they would have had to spend on food and niceties, that's been halved, because obviously most of the money's now going to defence. So, I don't know, the whole thing, it's just so tragic, and that's what keeps us going, and this is why we're doing 10, 12-hour days at clubs, to help those in need.